Waffle.
Back. So, it is the 20th of December, 1881, and 3 people are gathered in the library of 18 Grosvenor Square, London. There's a fire burning in the hearth, dusty books on the shelves, and scattered around, I think, various half-decoded diaries, and probably carefully wrapped lead tablets. Or are they back up in the safe? What would you have done with those, Maddie?
I left them in the safe. I wrapped them back up and placed them back in the safe.
Okay, so the tablets in the safe.
The rubbings were destroyed, and I never made another copy of the rubbings.
Okay, so the rubbings were destroyed by thrown tea, and the tablets, as described in the diaries, are safe back upstairs in the safe. Safe in the safe. That's the word I was looking for there. So, unless you have any questions for me, it's over to you guys. You are muted.
Maddie is just sitting at the table, staring into the fireplace.
Make me a sanity check whilst you're there, Maddie, please.
Yep, I've been muted this entire time, which is fitting because Dagon does not use human speech, and I am cosplaying as Dagon. Zachary is just kind of looking idly through the books that he finds in the library, just seeing what he can see. Maybe there's some good stuff in here.
Sanity check was the fail.
Nice to know. Just storing that away.
Ready.
So, are you looking for anything in particular, Zachary, or just browsing?
He's just looking through for now. When there's less. When he has more time and he doesn't feel he's under as much scrutiny, he'll probably do more of a deep dive in the library. But for now, he figures that his new friends wouldn't want him to be combing through the library with vigor and vim.
Okay. And Lady Irene, what are you doing?
I am keeping an eye on Maddie, but I am trying to keep up polite conversation with Zachary as we're going through things.
Don't worry about it. I'm perfectly fine browsing. If you'd like to make sure your friend though doesn't set anything on fire and or find any boiling pots of water to throw on me, that would be absolutely wonderful.
I always keep an eye on Maddie.
And at that point, Maddie is going to stand up and drift over to a window that faces the street, looking out it.
Okay. Yeah, you've walked this. The window has been repaired in the months that have passed since your first visit to the house. Well, not your first visit, but since Irene's first visit to the house. Now looking out, you can see it's dark outside and there's snow falling on the quiet street. And you can make out the forms of what appears to be a procession of people walking through the snow outside the house, up the street. Torches in their hands flickering in the darkness.
I'm going to leave the library and go out the front door.
Okay.
I'm going to follow her.
Alright. As you step out into the library, out into the hall, as you lift the latch and step out into the street. The snow is falling heavily. The street is silent and empty.
So they both walked out?
Yes, they have both walked out.
Let's go look for those plates!
I will walk into the middle of the street and just stand there. I'll gaze down one side of the street, looking for those lights, listening. And after a while, I'll look down the other side of the street, again, looking for the lights, listening.
Keeper, do I see any of this?
You can see that she seems to be looking around. You don't know what she's looking for or trying to look at, though.
Maddie, you need to come back inside. You'll catch the death of winter if you stay out here.
I'll stand there for a few moments longer. It's snowing currently.
Yes.
I will let the snow accumulate on my person. I do not have a cloak or a coat of any sort on. And then I'll walk slowly back towards Lady Irene.
Okay. Whilst this is going on outside, Zachary, you have been left unattended in the house.
And don't think that I don't know it. So I'm going to go ahead and assume they're not keeping the occult spell slides out in plain public. So I'm going to just start wandering through the house, hoping that maybe the person who had them died. So I'm going to look for maybe a master bedroom and then case it to see if maybe there's a safe or trunk somewhere that they might be. Because wandering through creepy old houses in a Call of Cthulhu game is the safest way to live.
Okay. In which case, I think possibly the best call for here would be a spot hidden, unless you've got anything else you think is more appropriate to offer.
Well, there's no detect magic spell.
No.
So I think that's probably the best move. Green, I believe. So,
Yep.
Boom.
All right. So you kind of wander out the library into the next room. You've already seen sort of through the library door. The next room through is the dining room. This big, cold, sort of empty room. But beyond that, as you sort of stick your head in a few doors to the ground floor, Sir John's actual sort of office/chambers are on the ground floor, so it doesn't take you long to find where his quarters are. You can tell they don't look to be currently lived in, though someone has definitely tidied things away. But also you can see that someone has then since it's like a mixture. Someone's clearly tidied in here, and someone else has clearly been through everything in here. Things have been upended and moved around, and the actual bed is smooth as ray, but all the books have been moved off the shelves.
Then I will do that thing that kids do when they know they're somewhere they shouldn't. I will take turns every minute or so looking out the window to see if I can still see them. And then if I can, I go back to looking through things, and then I go
You
look
can't
out
see
the
them
window.
out the window because they're at the front of the house and you're at the back of the house currently.
Ooh,
But-
danger.
You can see there does appear to be a solidly built safe in this room. However, I believe I'm correct in assuming that the safe is locked.
Well, I will restrain the urge to summon Chaucer to just grab the safe and fly off with it to another location, where I can pay someone to open it. I don't want to get off on a bad foot with my new friends. So I will note the location for future reference. And then I will start looking through papers instead to see if maybe there's something interesting in the less obviously going to get myself kicked out of my new group section of the study.
Okay, as you are searching around, this has already been like well searched through by Maddie in the last couple of weeks, so there's not really anything I don't think suspicious left behind in here. Like, you took the volume of Sir John's diary that was still active has been taken away, and what's left are, you know, a few family pictures, and if you search around long enough, the stash of suspect books underneath the loose floorboard, but I don't know if you've got time to search around long enough to find that.
No, but I make a note of it, that this is where I should concentrate a lot of my efforts later. And then
you
I
hear
guess
the sound of the front door, like opening and closing, as Irene and Maddie return into the house.
Then I will idly start sauntering my way down the stairs again. Just, you know,
Noted
looking around.
Along the corridor. You're still on the ground floor.
I will walk along the corridor back towards the library.
Oh yeah, as Maddie and Irene return, you see Zachary returning to the library as well.
And I'm dusting Maddie off. Snow accumulation. Maddie, what are you doing?
I saw something out the window.
Okay. What did you see?
A line of people walking. With lights. And they were singing or something. And I'm going to go into the dining room. I'm going to sit in front of the fireplace, regardless of if it being lit or not.
Okay. As you take your seat by the fire, there's this eerie quiet of the house around you. It's suddenly broken by the sound of a knock on the front door. Boom, boom, boom.
I will get back up and go towards the door and answer it.
Okay, standing on the step, sort of dressed in a thick cloak, sort of hat pulled down over his head, is a not a serious looking man. I'm trying to now recall if you've met this man before. But he steps up and goes, Inspector Barnes at Scotland Yard. I'm looking for a Miss Lottie Shaw. Detective Shaw. I was told I might be able to find her here.
She was here not too long ago, but she's left. Would you like to come in?
Oh, I don't mean to trouble you. It was a matter of a serious criminal nature. I wouldn't want to bother you about it.
Investigation?
Pardon?
An investigation?
Oh, yes.
Lady Irene
good
kind of
evening.
pops.
Good evening, lady. Yes.
Please come in.
Oh, yes,
Maddie
well,
definitely still has the not quite present look about her. She is still wearing her all black with the veil, so she lets the inspector in and closes the door behind him.
Thank you. Yeah, apologising apologies for calling at this late hour. I was searching for Detective Shaw. She was not at her lodgings, and I've not been able to get in touch. I was told she might be here or might have been visiting family out of the city.
She is visiting family out of the city for the holidays. But we are her associates, and we do help her in investigations. So you are in safe company to share what you have to share.
Oh, well, it is of quite a morbid nature, I fear. I wouldn't want to distress you.
Did somebody say morbid?
Yes.
Good evening, sir.
He saunters on over, because he saunters is his default movement method.
Yes. A pleasure. Inspector Howard Barnes, Scotland Yard.
Pleasure to meet your acquaintance, Inspector. Zachary Andrew Carnegie the Fourth.
Ah. The fourth, I see.
Yes, there were 3 others before me.
And many more after.
Yes, at least 7 that I know of.
Sorry, it is a late hour. Look, it concerns what appears to be. I don't know if this is murder, or some unfortunate string of accidents. But and I please apologise for the background sound. It appears its fireworks season has begun. I will just close the window.
Is this all about the spontaneous human combustions?
You know about those? Yes, it is. I'd spoken to Detective Shaw in the past about mysterious on-land drownings. It appears that we have moved on to fire now, and I thought maybe she might be able to provide some insight. Yes.
On-land drownings? That sounds credible.
It's rather old hat for London.
But yes, as far as I can tell, within the last 2 weeks, well, 2 and a bit weeks, there have been, to count as far as I can tell, at least a dozen spontaneous combustions within London alone.
Oh
And
my.
I'm starting to hear reports of them occurring outside.
Is there anything special about them other than being spontaneous?
I mean, the fact that people... Yes?
Do they state anything special about the fires?
Well, the couple of witness reports we have are a little, frankly, unbelievable.
Try me, and I'm going to sit down on the nearest bench.
I'm going to take exactly 7 steps away from the creepy fire person, because I've seen what happens when she gets that look on her face.
Yes. Well, the couple of witnesses we have report that the person shouted in an unknown language before their death and said something about he is coming, and then in one report burst into green flame, which seems rather odd. But the couple of witnesses we had were quite distressed by the experience, were not making much sense. One of them fainted there and then. The other seems to have developed a quite irrational fear of fire now.
Well, who is this individual that at least will talk, and we'll try and continue the investigation in Miss Shaw's stead.
Well, the witnesses, there is a Miss Nora Pembleton, who was a housemaid who witnessed her, or claims to have witnessed her, Master spontaneously combust in the drawing room. And the other, Mr. George Blackwood, who was riding in a coach with a man he claims caught fire sat beside him in the streets.
Did he know who this man was that he was riding with, or?
It was, I believe, a colleague of his. He was an accountant. I can find, as far as I'm concerned, no ties between these people. They seem random people from all walks of life, all ages, men, women. But
did they attend the same church?
Not that I know of, though. I am still figuring things out. The only thing that I can find to connect the couple of cases that have occurred further out of the centre is that they had all been staying in London recently. And in fact that of the ones I've managed to find some details on, many of them had been staying in central London, some just over 2 weeks ago.
Interesting.
But I cannot think how that would cause them to start catching fire several weeks later. Though with these kind of cases, there is very little sense of rhyme or reason to it.
Is it possible that they've all visited someplace? Maybe not on the same day, but I'm not sure.
Possibly.
Maybe a shop that sold chemicals of some sort.
And they've persisted on their clothing for that long? Perhaps. Unfortunately, the problem is that most of the people who know their comings and goings are now deceased, and I'm still gathering information because most of these haven't obviously come through to Scotland Yard as murders. I'm getting most of our information from a doctor over at the mortuary at the college hospital who seems quite intrigued by the occurrences.
Well, it is something that's certainly noteworthy. However, I'm sure there's a rational explanation for everything.
Well,
I mean, it's not like magic is real.
We've not yet reached a rational explanation for the spontaneous drownings.
This is the first I've heard of them. I know not. It's all new to me.
Indeed.
The drownings are caused by a hateful person.
Yes,
they were all murders.
That is what Detective Shaw said, but I cannot arrest anyone on the evidence that they are cursing people to drown.
It's just not reasonable.
My superiors would think me insane.
Oh, wait a moment. I just realized is he in the know? Is he one of do I have to censor myself around him and pretend things, or?
Are you asking me?
No, I'm asking them as if he's not even there, which is a common occurrence with Zachary.
I've never met this person before. I know Lottie works with him, but Detective, would you mind giving us the addressing for Miss Nora Pembleton, so that maybe we could ask some questions of our own. Is it possible that we know of her who she was working for so that we might be able to investigate the home where the incident happened?
Yes, she works down on Berkeley Square. Berkeley Square. I'm saying that wrong.
Would it be possible to get the addresses of those that have deceased?
Yes, I can.
I'm certain you've
Get at least
probably
some of them.
already had a look around.
I have some
but
of them. Yes, I've looked around. I can have them sent over to you in the morning. I'm still following up on a couple of them, I'm afraid.
We can start there. And you said there was a mortician that was fascinated by all of this?
Yes, Dr. Victor Peterson.
Is that Keeper? Is that the
Yes.
same one? Oh, Zachary, you know Dr. Victor Peterson.
I do.
You were recently under his care.
Oh, that was his name. I'm terrible when it comes to remembering things like that. I the help. Well, I suppose since we are already well acquainted with him, it might not be the worst idea to say hello again. I'll also add that I'm very impressed. So far in London, the authorities are far more forthcoming with information about these things than they are in America.
Look, as far as I'm aware, there are strange things that happen. Some of them I don't want to know about, but some of them unfortunately cross over into producing bodies, at which point somebody has to fill out some form of paperwork. And if I can find a way of stopping too many of these bodies and disappearances occurring, I will seek that. Though I cannot put most of the real reasons on paper. And that is where people like Detective Shaw come in.
I promise you, Inspector, that there will be no bodies found on my account.
Thank you, although that is not the phrasing I would prefer to hear.
We will obviously let you know what we come up with.
I wonder if we'll find more of those man-eating plants.
I don't...
More of those what?
No.
Anyway, I must go and gather some paperwork for you.
Yes, thank you so much for coming. We will let you know as soon as we find out something more. Here is the door so that you can gracefully see yourself out and have a fifth of scotch.
Before please don't set fire to any more buildings.
Of course. Have a wonderful holiday. And she just kind of smiles and then...
Is it bad that I'm not surprised that arson is something that you've all engaged in?
Let's just say that we ran into some plants that ate people, and the only way to take care of it was to burn the whole place down.
Really, that's the only way to take care of most things.
Right, so I'll be the first to admit that I run in some strange circles and that I have a perspective on reality that's a little more enlightened than most, but I understand, Maddie, that you and I just met, but I do feel the need to say out loud at least once, you are a very unsettling woman. And I mean that with all respect intended. I myself am delight in being scandalous and making people feel uncomfortable, but I'm just another level, Maddie, a completely new level for me.
She really is a nice woman. when
Oh, I don't doubt it.
she
I-
isn't incensed.
I am going to walk right away. Just turn around and walk back to the library this time and sit in front of the fire, staring into it.
I'm sure she's absolutely wonderful when she's not playing tag with tea kettles.
Well, you were mumbling though.
Oh, so a man can't mumble and then not be covered in boiling water?
It's more of what you were mumbling. I have stabbed people for more.
Okay, so stabbings, boilings, arson. Well, I will say that you certainly are an interesting bunch. I'm definitely not bored.
That's good. And we'll see how long we can keep that from happening.
Speaking of things I'd like to keep from happening, between you and I do not believe that we should introduce her to Chaucer.
No. We will not introduce
No,
her to
I
Chaucer.
feel like that might be the final coin that sets the scales going in way too far direction, and yeah.
Yes. No making introductions in that sense.
Excellent. I'm glad that we are of an accord. I just, in case it ever comes up, I don't want it to ever come up with her, because, frankly, the woman scares me, and that's hard to do.
Just wait until you see her when she really gets going, Zachary. And that's when Irene's gonna walk towards the library to check on Penny.
He looks over to where the scotch was left that was offered to the inspector and pours himself out a little glass and begins to idly sip it as he saunters down the hallway to where they are.
So,
And then walks past them and goes to one of the studies.
so where should we go first? I mean, Bartley isn't that far away.
Yep. Bear in mind it is currently evening, so it's up to you whether you wish to carry out investigations tonight or wait until the morning.
I believe we'll probably, or I think that we will wait until the morning because that might be the best with how snowy and odd the weather and Miss Carter are.
As I'm looking at the fire, do I see anything? Do I hear anything?
The flames flicker merrily in the hearth. A beautiful emerald shade. Other than that, the fire is completely normal.
Wonderful.
At this point, you've almost become used to the flames. You see, it's almost a comforting presence.
All right. Maddie's going to start, just the smallest little smile.
So, what do you think about that plan, Maddie?
Go tomorrow?
Yeah.
Yes.
We'll stop by Miss Pembleton's, and then we might hit up Dr. Victor Peterson.
Well, we don't have Miss Pembleton's address yet.
She works on Bartley Square. That's what
But
that's
which
what
building?
the detective said. So we can easily ascertain the additional
Very well.
information.
Perhaps speaking to Dr. Peterson first.
I don't know if he's a rather strange sort, and he's more likely to show us the corpses. And honestly, I would rather my constitution with dealing with that wait till the afternoon, if possible. I would rather not have to touch anything I shouldn't. And there's that kind of look when the conversation turns to touching.
Okay. That seems very reasonable.
And hopefully she'll tell us where the man that she was working for passed away. Maybe we can search their house and see if there's anything of relative interest to the London Esoteric Society.
We really must get into the deceased houses, homes, offices, and look there.
I understand completely. Where did Zachary go?
Are you behaving yourself, Zachary? You're muted.
I always behave. I'm aware. I saw the flashing button. I always behave myself, first off. Secondly, I'm just rifling through anything I find that looks interesting. Books, mostly. They're all having their, no doubt, very interesting powwow relating to what I only assume to be fire and drownings, which I now know all about, so they're no longer interesting. I just start looking at books, see what's in the library.
Okay, if you're browsing through, it's mostly books of history and mythology in here. Not really much that leaps out as being any more unusual than the occult stuff you'd find in your average sort of occultist pointed library. Like, there's nothing found in human flesh or with nothing you've not seen before, really.
Boring, strangely erotic. Boring.
But yeah, does anyone have anything of importance they wish to do that evening? Or...
Well, I'm going to tell Zachary about the intentions for the following day.
Well,
now,
given the
Maddie's gonna go up to bed.
Given the urgency of the situation, wouldn't it make more sense to do both at once? I mean, I know the doctor, apparently, and so I can speak to him, and then you can go to the market and speak with the other one.
I understand the thought there, but when it can be dangerous researching this.
Oh, you mean like, say, traveling with a pyromaniac and learning secrets that allow one to summon creatures from beyond the dark tapestry?
Yes, but
Oh, right, that's fun danger, right? That's not immediate.
yes, that's different, Zachary. I just don't. I haven't seen anyone die yet from research, but we have come close.
Well, there's a first time for everything, and I wouldn't like to be the first, but I am a trendsetter. So if that's how we want to play this, then by all means.
I mean, if you want to go on your own and see the doctor, you can.
Oh no, I'm very much a team player. Ask anyone. Any group setting, I perform adequately.
All right, so I guess we will set off to tomorrow, then.
Excellent. Would you like to grab a nightcap, Lady Irene?
Sure.
Excellent. I go get my carriage person, and I squire Lady Irene to an exclusive salon, and um, do the rich charming person thing.
The rich is undoubtable, the charming, who knows?
I am
But,
very charming, I'll have you know.
Yeah, you have a lovely evening, lots of expensive drinks are drunk, and we will pick up in the morning as the investigation continues. And although we are quite early in, I think this is possibly a good point to take a break, a little earlier than normal.
Oh my.
We will join you back in 10 minutes.
Alrighty.
We are back. So, before the break, our investigators were busy being creepy in a library when Inspector Barnes dropped by to ask for their help in investigating an increasing spate of spontaneous human combustion in London and the surrounding areas. And the morning after, a letter is dropped off at Grosvenor Square, containing within it a list of the names, occupations, and a few other details of, including presumed date of death, of the recently deceased people. 12 inside London and 2 so far outside of London that you know of, that have been sort of connected to this. And armed with this information, well, first of all, I presume the next morning we have some sort of little gathering, little tete. And armed with this new information, what would you like to do?
Well, I'm assuming Maddie's not going to leave the sanctity of her lair, so I'm going to have breakfast brought to the house. A nice gourmet giant thing brought over. And at that point, we can have our little meeting. So, how are we going to address this? It looks like there's a lot of names.
It's far more than I expected. I know he said there were a few, but I wasn't expecting 13.
Oh,
Well, obviously, the perpetrator can only be one person, and that's Father Christmas. So, that should be our first suspect.
I've noticed there isn't exactly a pattern with the dates of death, but it does seem to be appearing more frequent as the month goes on.
Well, someone's feeling more confident.
Looking at the businesses, or quite a few of them have to do with fire.
Uh-oh.
Look, the chimney sweep, the cook, lamplighter, match parrot. That name sounds familiar. The match seller?
Yes, didn't you buy matches from her?
Oh, so that's who we have to blame for all this.
I'm going to go up to my room to see if I still have the matchbook that I bought.
Yeah, you've got a little book of matches.
While she's up in her room, do we really think it's the best idea to bring her around potentially combustible things and occupations?
I don't think we have any other choice.
Okay, well, this
if
is...
Lottie was here, or if Maxwell was here.
You know, I get a strange feeling that Lottie doesn't like me.
She just hasn't gotten to know you well enough, Zachary. I'm sure things will patch out. But she gets suspicious around people.
Well, I'm sure once I get a chance to know her, everything will be fine. I've known many women, and a few men.
Interesting.
I'm speaking biblically, of course. This is a euphemism for relations of a grown-up variety.
I understand.
What I'm getting at is I'm a farmer, almost ostensibly because of how much seed I've sown over the years.
Face is starting to get red as she gets into eating.
Mission accomplished. I only scandalize so I can see that blush on your face, Lady Irene. It's absolutely lovely.
You do too much.
That's what I'm told.
I come back into the room with the matches.
Oh, great.
Is there anything on the matchbook?
I believe the matchbook was covered in some sort of writing since we saw the making of them at one point.
When did you obtain this matchbook?
This matchbook was obtained shortly before the explosion of the printing press.
Ah, yes. Yeah, so it would have the like the name of the matchmakers printed on it. And any other writing that you have added since.
Okay. What is the name of the maker's last name?
It's the matches themselves come from the match factory, so probably Brian and May.
Well, I definitely
Which is a sort of a large scale match company.
Keeper, I believe that these were the book of matches that we purchased from a little girl walking down the street.
She was selling them, but the matches are made by a larger matchmaking company.
Okay. Well, here's the matches. I open them. Do I have the address written on where we purchased them from?
No, because they were just brought off a street seller. So she was just selling them on a street corner.
Right. I'm asking, did I at one point put the address of where we were?
That is entirely up to you whether you would have kept note of that sort of thing.
Possibly not. But Irene, do we remember where the address was for this? Where I purchased these?
I don't remember. I mean, she's from the name.
It would have probably been on a street corner nearby. Like, she's a regular match seller who's hanging around. Or was a regular match seller.
Well, we should probably see if that family's all right. I know that they were going through some extensive legal issues concerning that fire. And if it turns out that...
I don't think she has anything to do with the printing press legal issues, Maddie.
No, but she's the little girl. You remember her, right?
No, I'm getting people confused. Like, she's nothing to do with them. This is
Yeah.
No. No. Like,
No,
this is... Yeah, no, this... I think I'm getting some crossed wires here. I thought at some point you bought some... It was flowers you bought from a random street corner person. That's what I was thinking of. Yeah,
right. No, so...
This is this girl is not the same name as, like, the family of people... Frank's family. No, this is...
No.
Apologies.
Okay. No. Wait.
This is a local match seller you bought some matches off.
Yes.
She sells matches around street corners.
Oh. Well, never mind. I guess this isn't... That would have been convenient. Okay. I will put the matches in my pocket. We should still speak with match sellers. Maybe the company has some information on her.
Possibly. That is a good idea. My still strongest vote is to start with George Blackwood.
All things being equal, I feel like I should stop off somewhere and pick up some supplies. You never know.
What sort of supplies?
Well, to start, I would like to have a large jug of water. You know, because reasons.
Well, we have containers in the kitchen.
And there's a few other items from my room that I would like to get.
Alright.
Okay, so you have items to select from your room. Irene wants to go to the Blackwoods. Maddie, what do you wish to do?
I want to... I want to see if I can find the match seller, the company, and maybe get some information of the girl who passed.
So you would know that she sells matches as an independent seller. Brian and May is a massive matchmaking factory in East London, so they wouldn't,
I understand.
Keep tabs on individual sellers.
For this list of people, was there any inclusion of where they purchased or sold their items? For Herod, did she sell them on a particular corner always, or?
It wouldn't have said not enough was known about them. A few of them you would have information. For example, the postman, Michael Lane, was working around the Oxford Street area.
All right, well then I guess I will go with the postman. I'll follow up on Michael Lane.
It's up on Oxford Street. The street cleaner John Brindle was working further over towards the City of London, so he was over on Fleet Street.
Okay.
It says his normal working area, so those two you'd know that.
All right.
The others, the information's a bit more messy, and they haven't chased down.
Okay. Well, I will go with those two first. Starting with Michael Lane.
Okay. So, Zachary, what are you collecting from your rooms as you hop on over to the Savoy?
Well, I usually keep my notebook in my interior coat pocket, so that's with me at all times. However, my set of pipes are, because they are silver plated, are in the room. So I grab those. I also grab my revolver, just in case. And I make sure that I have ample funds in my billfold, just in case bribes are required. And I think that's about it for my investigating supplies that I usually use. Maybe a spare piece of chalk. Yes, I'd like more chalk.
Always useful to have emergency chalk. Okay, so having collected your items, is there anywhere else you're heading that morning? Any other tasks you're trying to get done?
We have that massive list of people.
Yes.
But from his perspective, going through 18 names to try to figure something out seems kind of silly, because there's no way to go through all of them in a reasonable amount of time. By the time they got through them, there's probably going to be 3 more names, because when Santa Claus wants people got, he's going to get people got. So I think that the best option would be to, I think I'm going to actually take a trip over to the newspaper archives, because every single one of these people has an obituary. So the easiest thing to do would be to research the obituaries for additional information and see if I can have someone also go through and look for any other events that might have happened before that. Maybe go back to a month in the circulars to see if any of these names came up. Maybe one of them won a pie eating contest and then got murdered, or maybe one started a new business that was featured and then got murdered. So maybe there's some information in the news clippings that would give us some info. I also want to hire a couple people to help me with this, because that's a lot of reading, and
all right, we'll get back
I don't like that.
to the results of how that goes in a moment. First of all, though, Lady Irene, Blackwood's house is only a few streets away from Grosvenor Square on the fashionable Berkeley Square, where there are currently no nightingales singing.
It's not a difficult jaunt.
No, it's perfectly reasonable walking distance round the corner. You can see the house itself. You've got the actual house number included in the notes. Very, clean steps, neatly painted front door, very respectable looking.
Lady Irene is going to do her best Lottie Shaw impression and walk up to the front door and give it a knock.
And a few minutes later, a rather pale-faced young woman answers the door, wearing an apron and a little cap pinned on her head, very smartly dressed. Good morning, miss. Can I help you?
Good morning. I'm Lady Irene von Watts. I am helping Scotland Yard do some investigating on the incident that involved Mr. George Blackwood.
Oh, you with the police?
I'm with the detective agency, really, but yes.
Oh, if you're after talking to Mr. Blackwood, that is the younger Mr. Blackwood. He's not in at the moment.
Is this perhaps Nora?
Are you asking her?
Are you Nora Pembleton?
Yes, miss. Ma'am.
So you saw the incident?
I saw something, maybe. Yeah, but I told the inspector when he came asking.
Could you would it be all right if I stepped in and?
Yeah, you probably best come in though. I shouldn't rightly be having visitors.
It makes sense, but yes, we
If
will.
Though if you're with the police, I suppose Mr. Blackwood can't really complain.
Yeah, I just want to ask you some questions, maybe see where the incident happened, maybe take a quick look around, and hopefully I will be done before the younger Mr. Blackwood is back.
Yeah. What would you like to know?
Was there anything in particular going on beforehand? What did he?
Oh, he was sat in his study, all quite like having a cup of brandy, and just came back from getting a new bottle, and then he starts screaming and shouting and saying about the fire, it burns, and it's coming, and or something about the sun, the fire. It wasn't making much sense, because then his head burst into flame, and that's the last thing I really remember. Next thing I know, I woke up on the floor and it was just completely burnt black. Nothing even remaining. It's like a horrible dream.
That certainly sounds terrifying. You must have had quite a fright. Which way is the study?
Oh, through here. You wouldn't see much. They got rid of the chair he died in, and nothing else was burnt. Nothing at all.
It's so fascinating. She continues to the study, and she kind of looks around at the desk, the area, books, anything that might have been out.
It's been I've tied it up in here since it's been cleaned. So.
I'm gonna look.
I swear I didn't do nothing. Mom, didn't do nothing.
It's all right.
Anything.
I'm not accusing you of anything, dear. I'm not.
'Cause
and Lady Irene is actually going to gently place her hand on the woman's hand, ungloved. And she is going to try and do the thing that she does.
All right, give me a mediumship roll, or a psycho.
Yeah.
The word I can't say.
Whatever.
Psychometry. There's a reason it's called mediumship. Is that the main reason is that I cannot say the word psychometry. That word.
That's a big old fail there.
You want to push this, or spend some luck, or accept the failure?
I think that's like 13, 14.
That would be 13 points of luck, or you can push it.
You're always looking at me whenever you say that. Push it. Go on.
Oh, what's the worst that could happen? Terrible things could happen.
I'm just going to spend some luck, and we'll see what happens the next time I fail this.
Okay, so your hand closes on hers. You see a glimpse of this vision. You're stepping through the door into the study, this bottle in your hand. And you see a figure that with his back to you, facing the hearth. And all of a sudden you see, like, his whole body goes stiff, and then you hear him start to mutter and murmur under his breath. I call on you. The green, no, the fire, no. It's coming. She calls it. And then there's this burst of green fire, and then everything goes black as you collapse down to the ground in this cold faint. I need a sanity roll from you, please, here, Lady Irene.
That makes sense. I fail on my sanity roll. What is it, a D6 or?
That is what I was just checking. I wrote this down just in case someone happened to witness this to the light. Oh yeah, roll me a D6, please. This is only second hand. I won't give you the full D8 for. That's 1 point of sanity you lose. You're unbreakable.
Eventually it'll happen. Don't worry, Tis. Eventually.
Yeah, you sort of come back to yourself. It's like startled, shaking a little. Nora takes a startled step back from you.
Sorry. Been under quite a bit of stress. He's not the only one that this has happened to. Darn it. I was hoping to find something else here. Did he know anyone? Did he talk to anyone?
I mean, he knew a lot of people. He was a very friendly chap. He had a lovely. He often went visiting friends around the area. He was a good man. It was sad to see him go. He gave me extra days holiday and always extra pay at Christmas. And half of Saturdays off.
That's amazing.
I know.
I hope the younger Blackwood continues the trend.
No. Not had any Saturday off. I get half a day off on Sundays. For church.
That's a shame. I'm sorry that your lot has turned a little sour. Would there be any reason the younger Mr. Blackwood would want his father gone?
I don't think so. It wasn't. They seemed to get on well enough. I mean, as far as I can tell. You think this was some kind of murder then? Not. I mean.
Well, it's.
I'm starting to think I imagined the whole thing, like what I saw, what I heard. Like, it doesn't seem real quite.
Unfortunately, he isn't the only person that has exploded into flame recently.
You think he's catching? She looks kind of like looking nervously at her hands. Like, I keep sometimes thinking I can imagine it in like out of the corner of your eye, like, you know, for a second, like the candle almost looks green.
Oh. You've been seeing candlelight turn green.
I think it's just imagination. I think, like, you know, when you've seen something, then you think you see it again.
I will, while we're walking around the study, I'm going to try and make an investigative check to see if there's anything that I could pull. Anything that might be going. Spot hidden.
This is a study that's been tidied in the last sort of like 19 days since this happened. Like, there's nothing really to be seen. I'm not going to make you make a roll because we'll just end up.
Yeah, it's just too nice. It's too.
It's not really anything to be found here.
I thank you for your time, and she does smile, and I do appreciate the additional information. So I hope things get better, and I hope you have a wonderful holiday. And that's when Irene's gonna leave.
Okay. Meanwhile, Maddie, you've got some leads to follow up. How are you attempting to follow up these leads? What are you doing?
Well, first I'm going to the post office that Michael Lane would have worked at. And I am going to request his personal information. They would have known where he lived.
I'm sorry, who's asking this?
My name is Martha Cotter, and I would like to wish to speak with his family personally. I have an understanding that it's possible that it was not entirely spontaneous.
I mean, I don't know much what happened, but yeah, I'll hand you over an address. Yeah, a few streets away in a less nice part of London.
Thank you. Do you by chance know who might have been there when his death happened?
No, he was found downstairs in the post packing room.
Would it be possible for me to take a look? I understand that you've been working recently. Do you have any of his personal belongings here still?
We sent his belongings back to his family last week before the funeral. But I can show you down to the basement where we found him if you want. There's nothing to see though, really. Not even a burn mark on the floor, which is what was quite so strange. Yeah, he just got back from doing an extra shift and went down to the basement, dropped some things off, and
would it do you know if he had been to any place he doesn't usually go to during that shift?
Let me check the books. Yes, he'd been covering for Winthrop, who is ill. He went down, he did Audley Street, all the way down to Brook Street, Grosvenor Street, all the way down to Mount Street, so around Grosvenor Square area.
I'm sorry, I missed the name. Who was he covering for?
That
Winthrop. Was ill? Winthrop?
I think that's what I said. I may have just made up an entirely different name, because I didn't write this down. Dave. Dave Winthrop.
Winthrop. All right. What? Since that is Dave's normal circuit of work, would he have known if something odd had happened there?
Dave? Dave, there's a young lady here wants to ask you about, anything odd. One sec. Hello? Different person?
Hello. Hello. I actually have a few questions concerning, Mr. Lane.
Oh, rest his soul.
Yes. From what I was just told, he was covering your shift on your route because you had taken ill.
Yeah, had an awful cold that week. Shivers right up and down my body. Comes of being out without. I'd left my scarf at home, you see, one day, and then came down awful ill.
Do you? How long after Mr. Lane passed did you take up that route again?
A couple of days later, when I got back.
Did you notice anything strange?
Let's see. Anything strange? Let me just have a think. What are we counting strange here? I mean, strange in this... I mean... not so much. I mean, I heard a few people talking about people that used to work around there had gone missing, like some people who are the street sellers, that sort of thing, but
some of the street sellers?
Yeah, a girl who sold matches, and one of the knife sharpeners who used to come by once a week hadn't turned up.
Huh. What street was that? That was...
Oh, like, round, Bond Street, Grosvenor Street, that sort of area.
You said Grosvenor Street?
Yeah.
Thank you.
But other than that, nothing much strange. Oh! That's this. There's this one house, over the, No, hang on, no, that was before. No, forget it, that was...
No.
You were talking about after.
No, but before also helps.
Yeah, there was this house over on Grosvenor Square. I was coming back one evening, and I swear I saw this man come running down the steps, snattering on about witches in the fog and this, that, and the other. Being out to get him, and that's the same house. Like, they've had their window broken, and I thought I saw someone like setting fire to it at one point, and then the man who lived there, old chap, really eccentric gentleman, he apparently got himself like killed or died. I don't know what happened, but everyone's talking about it. Like, that must have been first of the month, back start of December. Can't remember. Wallace, that's the man's name. Strange old man, strange old chap.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, other than that, I mean, that's, to be honest, I think that's kind of set my level for strange around that area too high. Gives me a funny feeling, that house.
Thank you. I will, we will look at, I'll let, the detectives know, and they'll see about looking into it. Thank you very much. I think I'll go and check in on Mr. Lane's family now. Thank you.
Okay, as you head on over to Mr. Lane's family, Zachary, having collected your items, did you say you wish to go to the newspaper's office?
Yes, I summon my my man Alfred, and we go looking around. I would like to acquire. Well, they'll have people at the London Times or whatever the most popular paper is.
Let's say the Times. We'll go to the Times.
So we go to the Times, and we will have to basically get this information rounded up fairly quickly. So, hello. I require something from you.
Yes.
I need every piece of. Ooh, that smells lovely. I pull out my cigarette case and I begin.
His pipe on the corner of his desk. Yes.
I require the obituaries for the following 18 people. Furthermore, any information that you can dig up for at least a month prior to their deaths that might reference them. I understand this may take some time I simply do not have. Would $300 be enough to get you to figure this out quickly and get your people on it?
Oh, definitely. I will ask you to deduct this from your... Is this from your
I believe
cash?
It's 5,000 free spending money.
Yeah, but if you keep throwing your money about this, I am going to...
That's fine.
Yeah.
Next month it resets. I am familiar with the...
Yep. But yes, let's see. When do you want it by?
Oh, gosh. It's 9 a.m. now. I'm thinking no later than 6 p.m.
We'll send over what we can find, but, I mean... Lamplighters, street cleaners, match sellers, I doubt half these people have obituaries.
Well, I believe in you. I believe in your investigative staff, and furthermore, I believe that...
Like, these aren't the types of folks this is going to be much written down about. I mean...
Are you trying to talk me out of paying you?
No, I'm just setting your expectations here.
Well, then, you have reporters. Get a few of them to go investigate the people. Just find one that's reasonably...
That one. The Matthew Brown from day before yesterday. We were penning an article about that. Someone claimed he caught fire inside a carriage, caused a bit of a crash outside a very popular tea rooms in...
Is that what that was?
Were you there a witness at the scene, sir? Did you have any quotes you would like to provide?
Yes. Leaving hot tea kettles of water on the table itself, not the best action to do in a social situation. I would advise going forward that anyone that goes to that tea room be aware of the potential dangers of scalding, boiling hot water within arm's reach. It'd be better if the waitstaff were to...
That is...
Yes, but leaving the kettle in easy grasp on the table, maybe someone has the shakes and they knock it over and burn someone.
I'm sorry,
maybe I don't... Go ahead,
Are you asking
please.
for an article warning of the dangers of teapots here? Because I'm just not sure that's going to go ahead.
I'm seriously considering
well with our audience
here. I understand you Londoners have a fetish for these things. I get that. I wouldn't want to
try and take an Englishman's teapot. You will start a riot here.
I will not take an Englishman's teapot. However, what I'm saying is it would add an extra bit of ambiance if the waitstaff were to bring the kettle and pour the tea for the person that's actually drinking the tea and not leaving the kettle on there. It would add an extra bit of intimacy to the experience, I think.
I will take that under advisement.
Look, I'm not saying write the article or anything. I'm just saying that it might not be a terrible idea going forward.
Right.
Anyways, thank you very much for the information. I'll take everything you have.
Everything we can get. Yes.
Excellent. Good. Well, thank you very much. I don't know if that was worth $300, but it's fine.
It was definitely not worth $300.
It was not worth $300.
It was worth like $2.
You owe me 10 glowing reviews of my choice on things.
Sir, for that $300, just if you would like an opinion article written, just let us know. As long as it's not about
Thank you.
teapots.
It'll have nothing to do with teapots, I assure you.
Yeah.
And I can assure you that I could not find a use for a newspaper readily able and willing to print whatever articles I asked that didn't have anything to do with teapots.
Within reason, sir. Nothing that will get us shut down. Nothing defaming the Queen.
Nothing
or
defaming
any
the
archbishops.
Queen. All hail Her Majesty. We in the States love the Queen. Absolute gem of a woman. Right. This has been an excellent conversation. Thank you for your assistance. I will be off, and I will be in touch regarding these articles going on in the future.
Yes, yes. Okay. So where are you headed to next?
Well, I've already done the majority of the legwork on this case now, and I've acquired us a massive resource going forward. I really do think that I've done everything I can to assist this investigation and that it will end very, very positively. However, I know that my new friends are sticklers for help and they all want to do the legwork themselves, so I don't know if we had plans to meet for lunch anywhere.
We could
If
say
we did,
so.
awesome, I will go there. Otherwise, I will simply wait, and they know where to find me.
Okay. Lady Irene, I can't remember, did you have anything else you wanted to follow up on before lunch?
Probably not. She is probably kind of disappointed.
Okay. Maddie, you have time to go visit Michael's family. They don't appear to know much about the manner of his death. They were informed it was a tragic accident at work. They're currently being paid out like a compensatory pension by the post office for his death at work. But as far as they were told, it was an unfortunate accident. And that he was covering another person's shift and just never came home.
I am so sorry for your loss, Mrs. Lane. I understand that grief can make a lot of things much more difficult. Would it be possible if I look through some of Michael's things? I am concerned that maybe he had hold of something he shouldn't have.
Sure. Go ahead.
Thank you.
Well, we don't have a whole lot of things. His clothes are in the drawers. I've not got around to moving anything yet, really.
Thank you. I apologize if this is an inconvenient time, but the police believe that this may be connected with some other deaths that have happened in a similar manner, and they've asked me to assist in seeing if he had any connections with them, and that will require looking through his things.
Go for it.
Thank you. And I will look through the drawers of his clothing, checking pockets of anything that might have pockets, and any paperwork or books that he might have.
He doesn't appear to have been much of a reader at all. There's no books of his around. He's got his uniform, a few other bits of clothing, a few bits and bobs of personal possessions, but nothing that strikes you as uncanny or odd.
Unfortunately, I haven't found anything. Mrs. Lane, I am sorry to have bothered you. Thank you for your time. It seems his passing was not in connection.
Thank you for looking into it, though.
Is there anything that you need?
No.
All right, thank you. I will take my leave. Be well.
And as you exit the house and back out onto the snowy streets, sort of carriages, hearts rattling past, it's coming up to lunchtime, and you sort of arrange to meet the others, sort of catch up on what's going on. Someone comes. You see a young woman in the street, sort of handing out flyers, and she comes up and thrusts one into your hand and goes, "Lantern Light parade in Hyde Park this evening. Winter solstice celebration. You should come." She thrusts this flyer into your hand and then darts off down the street.
I'll look at it on my way to where we agreed to meet for lunch.
And you see Festival of Flame. Begins sundown on the Serpentine.
Okay. I will put it in my pocket until we get to wherever I'm supposed to be.
Is lunch at the house or at another establishment?
I don't know. Would Zachary be the one that would have us be out and about?
I mean,
He would have given some location of some high-end restaurant to meet at.
yeah, you gather at a high-end dining establishment for lunch. The waiter comes around, takes your orders, asks if you would like any tea.
Yes, but kettle not to be kept at the table. If tea is required, you will be waved over and you will pour the tea. I also want no sources of open flame near this table. I want that in no uncertain terms that there be no fire anywhere near the table that I am sitting at. No boiling water, no matches, no fire, no candles, nothing of the sort. You may have the chandeliers above, that's perfectly fine, but I want nothing within easy access that a, let's say, woman would be able to grab and set alight, or burn even.
Of course, sir. And he removes the candle from your table, and when he returns to pour your tea, he takes the teapot away with him once it has been poured.
Excellent. Thank you very, very much. You are an absolute gem of a man.
And luncheon is served, and you are all gathered around.
Hello, everyone. Have we all had a productive day?
I wish it was more productive.
Yes. Here.
Excellent.
She's going to pull the flyer out of her pocket.
There is no flyer in your pocket.
I just had it in my pocket. I put it in.
Your
I'm
pocket
going to
is
check
empty.
my other pocket.
I mean, it has other items in, but no flyer.
I'm going to check all my pockets.
Make me a sanity check, please.
Give it a moment. I just hit the button. That's a fail.
Maybe you dropped it. You're not entirely sure.
I was given a flyer that says that there will be a festival tonight at sunset at some place.
So a festival involving fire someplace this evening.
Yes.
Well, that sounds like a potential catastrophe in the making. We can go. After all, I am a masochist for stimulation. The things I found out, or the London Times actually are doing an article. Remember that carriage crash outside of the tea house last night?
Yeah. Yes.
Yes, one of the people who spontaneously or set alight was actually in that carriage.
Oh.
Also, I think I bought a newspaper.
Okay.
I mean, they told me I could have anything I wanted printed forever. I don't know. Maybe I purchased the. I don't actually know what happened, but I think we made friends. I'm sure we could find some use for a major paper willing to print anything for the most part that we want. I was told we can't talk about the Queen or tea. Other than that, we're game. I even thought it might be fun to give the paper a list of everyone who spontaneously combusted so they could run a scandalous piece about it, but I decided it might not be the best idea to connect all of those dots and give it to the Times.
Probably.
Yeah.
I think you might have inflated your sense of self.
Maddie, I assure you, there is no way I could further inflate my sense of self. Consider me perpetually inflated.
I went to Blackwoods and I spoke with Nora, and I did see the event in question. But unfortunately, they've already cleaned up all the mess, so I couldn't do much more than that.
Did you use your touch thingy?
Mm-hmm. So he did burst into green flame, muttering.
Lady Irene, could you make me an intelligence check, please, actually?
Of course, anything for the keeper.
The chance.
Success.
You heard his brief muttering before he started yelling about and screaming.
Mm-hmm.
And you swear you've heard those words muttered before. You can't quite place it, but you've definitely heard that muttering. Those strange words somewhere.
So, as a question, and please, I don't expect a positive response to this. The people who will randomly set aflame, it stands to reason that the lead plates that I inadvertently read from were connected to something relating to water. Now, there may be something in there that might tell us how these people are drowning, or better yet, a way to counteract it. There also may be something in there relating to the spontaneous combustion, as this certainly falls within the wheelhouse of the things that I find interesting. Now, obviously, under supervision, it might not be a terrible idea to let me look at them, to see if we can find a way to further gain some insight on what's going on, or better yet, find a way to counteract it.
That does make sense. I will say, the muttering the man did in my vision is familiar for some reason. I don't know where, but it's definitely familiar. Maddie, is it? Do you think it would be all right if Zachary looked at those plates with us observing?
I will. I will take another rubbing. But that is
Well,
all.
excellent. Well, in which case, we'll enjoy a lovely meal. Afterwards, Maddie will rub away, and then perhaps we could go check out your festival, if because I'm sure that will end well. I have every faith that this will go extremely wonderfully.
Um. Very well, I guess.
I'll even see if I can get my friend to attend. Maybe he can provide some additional information or can take a look around and see if anything is fascinating. He has an eye for the occult, much like myself, but a different perspective.
All right. I think we have a plan to attend this festival that you have lost the flyer to.
Keeper, what was the name of the place that the festival is being held at?
It said it was at the Serpentine, which is the lake / river in the park in Hyde Park.
Oh, okay. Oh, it was at the lake in the park. The Serpentine. Serpentine. But that wasn't the only thing that I found. The postman, Mr. Lane, I went to see his office. I spoke with someone. He had apparently been covering, taking the shift for one of his fellow postmen who was off sick. And excuse me. He had been doing a lot of he had been covering Grosvenor Square and the area around it. For apparently that is near where a lot of the people who were sellers on the street, like Matthew Gold, the knife sharpener, he stopped appearing and he's on the list. The match seller was there too.
That's near your house, or I should say our house now.
I'm not sure what happened. What happened?
What do you mean?
Well, it must have been something that was going on. Dave Winthrop, who was the person who normally did that route, he said that the house was quite odd and very uncomfortable.
Ooh. Color me intrigued.
something happen?
Sir John passed away.
At the beginning of this month.
Keeper, is that accurate?
Yes, if I'm getting my dates correct, it would have been the 1st of December when Sir John died.
1st of December.
And all of these deaths happened after.
That does seem to be when Father Christmas started his rampage. And I know, obviously, it's not the real Father Christmas, and I don't mean to devalue the loss of life. I just think it's a fine way to put a title on everything that's going on. Obviously, we know it's the work of either a singular or a small group of people, so I shall now henceforth refer to the arsonist, or what is it when someone burns people as opposed to buildings? The crematorist, as Father Christmas.
That's interesting, but yes, I could see that title being fairly well deserved, so it does seem an interesting pattern. It does make me wonder what Sir John was really in about.
Well, I think we should investigate this building. I think that would be an excellent place to start. Or we could check out the fire festival. It depends on how masochistic we're feeling.
Well, the building that it seems like he was talking about is the estate that we have been researching in.
My home.
Oh, I've learned something today. Well, it looks like
think
We live
should
in the creepy
go.
house.
I couldn't tell it was creepy. It seemed cozy to me.
I think we should still go to the festival.
And I think that is going to end very well, and we should definitely do it.
I believe we should go at least. Maybe figure out some clue as to what's going on.
But, yeah, so you said you wanted to go and take some new rubbings of the lead plates to look at before sundown, was that correct?
Yes, that is something that we should definitely do.
So you've still got a few hours before sunset, though it is winter, sunset's reasonably early. So you head back to Grosvenor Square. And Maddie, are you taking rubbings of all 6 of the lead plates?
No. I am going to go into the office by myself, locking the door behind me as soon as I go in.
You're so trusting.
I am going to open the safe, and I will take out one piece of the lead sheets and take a rubbing of that.
Okay, could you please roll me 1d6, please? See which one of them it is. Okay.
Number 6.
Thank you.
Oh, geez, I already know that one.
It's chapter 2 I was after. But yeah, you take a rubbing of this. It's very sort of faded, dinted lettering on this one of the tablets. But you're able to get a rubbing of it. And you
I put the sheet back. I lock the safe, and only then will I unlock the door and come out of the office.
Okay. Head back along to rejoin with the others with this new rubbing of this plate in hand.
Excellent. Well, Maddie, first, allow me to say how grateful I am that you are entrusting me with this. This is a remarkable sign of faith on your part. Lady Irene, again, thank you so much for bringing me into this little coterie of people. It's very kind of you, and I think that this is the best case scenario of what could have happened. May I?
The way you said that makes me not want to, and I move towards the fireplace. We are in the library, so the fireplace is lit.
I didn't mean for that to sound nefarious. I was merely thanking you. And again, this is going to prove helpful. We know that the things on those plates will give us some insight, and this may be the only way, short of finding out who did it and stopping them, which is going to take a while, I have a feeling, that we might be able to save some lives.
What is your connection to the Belfonts?
My connection is that they showed up at, well, one of them showed up at my suite and offered to have me go to their estate. Word got out that I am a man interested in the esoteric and occult, and they wish to speak with me on the matter.
Did you go?
No, I did not.
He's been busy with us.
I have put off that particular social engagement. I do not think it is a good idea to take them up on it until such time as I have more information on the things that they can do. One of them caused me to have a fish grow in my chest, and while intriguing, I believe it might not be a terrible idea to have a counter effect known before I engage them. I also don't think that they're particularly trustworthy, nor are they people I want to get involved in. However, given the fact that they obviously have some connection to the drownings, it would be a tactical advantage to learn what we can from them. Obviously,
exactly
under
why
false
you would
pretense.
start reading. Exactly why you would start reading, and the feel of the mist and the fog came about when you did that.
Which is why I want to find a counter for it. These plates may provide that. At the end of the day, it's your prerogative.
These plates that you read it.
Yes, and I read it incompletely and incorrectly, which I now wish to remedy by getting more of a solid look at them. Again, at the end of the day, this is entirely based on your comfort level, which admittedly, I do regret speaking because you seemed perfectly comfortable with it before I opened my mouth. This is a way to potentially save lives. If you want to let me look through it, that's fine. If you don't want me to look through it, I won't. But I think that it's giving up a potential way for us to save some people.
Keeper, I am going to try to read and decipher this on my own first before handing it to him.
Could you make me a roll against your Latin skill?
I do not have a Latin skill.
In which case, you are not able to make sense of this as you do not speak Latin.
I am going to pass it to Lady Irene.
Okay. Lady Irene, do you speak any Latin? Or read Latin? I take it from the head shake that is a no.
Then I'm going to pass it to Zachary.
Thank you.
And I will make myself ready to grab a piece of wood from the fire.
Okay, as Maddie...
I make myself ready to not be an immediate swinging distance of a flaming log from the pyretress over there. So I will start reading.
Okay, as this is a rubbing of a very old and damaged text, I am going to ask for once again for a Latin roll here. Some of the words are incomplete, some of the bits are entirely missing. So you're sort of using what you know of Latin to fill in some of the gaps here and there.
Totally understandable.
And let's just
I'm
hope
sure this
that
will
you
go
don't fumble
wonderfully.
this time. Like,
I did not.
no. So you are able to make sense of this. And it appears to what is inscribed upon, or was inscribed upon the tablet that this is a rubbing of, is a curse. An incantation, a focus designed to curse your foes in the name of the Lord of the River, the Lord of the Waters, and the Lord of the Breathless Deeps. And to
My. Well, I think that this does bear some relevance to the case that we're working on. It has relation to the curse that is used to, I believe, obviously I haven't studied this in great length, this is merely me looking it over, that this is how they are afflicting people with this particular curse. I may, given a few days, be able to reverse engineer this to protect people.
You could do that, Zachary?
Potentially. I can do all sorts of things. All it takes is enough studying.
What will keep you from using it as it is?
My absolutely iron-bound moral code, and the fact that I'm reasonably certain that you'll set me on fire if I don't.
So, fear.
Yes. I don't normally feel the sensation. I tend to view it more as fascination, but I also like danger. And therefore, the idea of potentially being set afire by someone I just met is not boring. And I do so love to not be bored. At the end of the day, though, it's your decision. I'm not going to stuff this in my pocket and run out of the room like a child attempting to flee someone with a ball they've just been given. Though that might be hilarious, watching me attempt to navigate the furniture in this room.
I'll think about it.
I appreciate your thought. Do try to decide with some level of alacrity, though, if there's another drowning that we could have prevented. I know I'm going to be absolutely heartbroken.
It's true. I'm more concerned with the people catching on fire at a insane rate.
Yes, and one of the other tablets may give us some insight to that, but I don't wish to push my luck further than I already have.
I do admit the drownings were. There were great lengths of time between them, usually.
Yes, I'd hate to see a competition start.
Yes. But I hope you do consider Maddie. I think Zachary might be our best chance to be able to figure
How long
this
have
out.
you known him?
Feels like forever.
A week or two. But he seems
Only a
to
week or two?
Yes, but he seems to have some skills that we have been lacking in our investigation and research.
Not sure I trust him.
And that makes
Well,
sense.
for the record, that's kind of a two-way street. I know that I know that physically you've done far more harm to me than I've done to you. And at the end of the day, you're the one who has the tablets. You're the one that decides how much information gets disseminated.
I'm sorry, but the first time I attempted to share the information, you decided to read it aloud, and you caused something to start.
And that was an error that I don't normally make. As you can see this time, I didn't make that. And I will even thank you, because no doubt it was because you called it to my attention.
Like I said, I will think about it. I will get ready for the festival tonight.
And I will get ready as well.
Maddie will turn and head to her room to change into something more appropriate for the festival.
Well, I will take my leave. If we're going to a party of any sort, I want to look the part. Lady Irene, could you be a gem and attempt to massage her into potentially being more helpful? I am being serious when I say that this is probably the only way we're going to be able to figure out a way to put a stop to this, at least in the short term.
I will try. She hasn't been the same since, well...
I don't know what she was like before. I have the good fortune of only knowing the woman that is here now, and that is an experience, let me say.
I understand, but I've known her for at least a few months now, and let's just say the deterioration and the stress of dealing with esoteric items in nature has been taxing.
Yes, not everybody has the mental... I don't want to say fortitude because that makes it sound like I'm demeaning people, but not everyone has the mindset that makes them adept in this particular field. I would also add that I am willing to provide adequate care for her if you wish to help with her recovery. I have access to several alienists that might be able to assist.
I do appreciate that. I'm hoping that we can get her recovered because she is quite a delight and very smart and capable.
Well, much as she has the tablets and I am at her whim regarding whether I can read them, I will give you a tablet of sorts. Should you ever feel that the situation has become untenable, let me know and I will have her, at a danger of both London society and potentially herself, be remanded to such a facility.
I understand, but I guess I will see you at the party.
Of course. Wear something delightful. The more scandalous, the better. Don't get me wrong, I love your washerwoman meets funerary director look, but I think it's time to come out of your shell, bloom, as it were, into the flower that you were truly meant to be.
Oh, well, all right.
And I am going to get changed for the party, and part of getting changed for the party is, I believe my friend might be a good chaperone to observe this from above.
Okay, well, as you make your preparations back at the Savoy, I believe I really should have this page bookmarked by now as to the spell's appropriate costs. But as everyone is getting ready for the party, is there any other special preparations going on other than dressing for the occasion?
I make sure to shave myself completely from the neck down.
I don't think it's that kind of party, but...
I will find some sort of blade to carry on my person. That's about it. Not a caliber saber, but something useful.
An appropriate one.
Yeah.
Yes. So, how many points of magic are you willing to put into this casting, Zachary?
How much? What's the percentage based on how much I spend?
It was 10% per magic point, to a maximum of 96 being the maximum. So essentially, if you put in 10, there's still a chance of failure.
Then I will do my 10 because I have only one spell that I know, and therefore won't need very much more magic after that.
Okay, in which case, please roll me a D100 and a D4, please, as you call upon powers of the outside.
I got a critical success.
Your spell, your summoning is successful. And a 1d4 for how much sanity this will cost you.
That would be 4. A critical, not success.
Yes, it slowly chips away every time you do this. It's a little more sanity trickling down between your fingers.
And I have an alienist on retainer when I need to go on vacation.
So please deduct 4 points from your sanity for today. I don't think you're yet below any kind of daily limit. But...
No, believe it or not, I'm actually somewhat stable, all things considered.
Okay. Yes, in utter and complete silence, Chaucer circles down from the night sky. This faceless being, unspeaking, but ever watching.
Ah, my dear friend, how I've missed you. I certainly hope the other night when you did the little prank that I requested, he was suitably impressed. Here first, and he actually comes forward and gives him a giant hug because the last few days have been very stressful. And the Night Gaunt is indeed his best friend in the world. Okay, I do have a task for you, but let me tell you about the last few days. I met a woman, and I have even put her in my employ. I also met a crazy one that almost tried to set me on fire, and I'm pretty sure is going to do something awful soon. I may be calling upon you for that as well. We're going into a situation that may be particularly intriguing, and I would like you to watch over me during this from above. Try to stay out of the moon's light. I don't want you casting a shadow. But keep watch over me. If threatened, be aware that I will summon you with the pipe, and you may step in and assist as needed. There you go.
Having neither face nor mouth, the Night Gaunt does not reply.
I have taught it to nod, though. Excellent.
It takes wing into the night sky. And so, with additional party guests invited, our 3 investigators head out to join the Festival of Fire. As the sun sets early on the winter solstice, the longest night of the year begins. So you meet once more, dressed, well, it's a cold winter's night. I'll leave it up to you how appropriately or inappropriately you have dressed for the weather, as the snow is still falling.
Lady Irene is dressed for the weather, but she is wearing a gown of verdant green instead of her normal black. Her coat, if it were, is still a black, but there is a bit of a fur collar tuff kind of going on that is more of a golden yellowy fur color.
Maddie is dressed in head to toe a rich black, with a black veil as well. And she brushed up on her reading just before she left.
And Zachary will be clad head to toe in red, with white trimming along the sleeves of his suit coat. His greatcoat will have white fur trimming along the hood, a wide black belt complete with buckle, shoes with bells that are slightly pointed up, and a walking cane.
Very seasonally, if not mood appropriate.
And as an extra bit of tweaking people, he does put a sprig of mistletoe on the center of his belt.
Very festive. So as the three of you head out into the snow on a cold winter's night, you can hear carol singers off in the distance, singing on the doorsteps. Lamplighter going around light lanterns when on the streets, and yeah, a general festive atmosphere as you head down through the snowy streets from Grosvenor Square towards the park. And as you get to the gates of the park, the sounds of the carol singing die away a little. It's a little quieter. The gates are still open, and you can see down by the shores of the lake this cluster of people, each holding a lantern, the lights reflecting off the semi-frozen surface of the water. And from a distance you can make out that there appear to be definitely over a dozen, probably about 20 or so people gathered up on the shores of the lake. All of them, as far as you can have from this distance, cloaked, but each carrying a lantern.
I don't suppose it needs mentioning that this is both ominous and very reminiscent to some salon parties I've been to.
I'm looking for lanterns.
As if you've brought a lantern, you can have a lantern. If you... But,
Yes, I think I would have brought a lantern.
Okay. Are you heading down
Irene,
to the...
as a quick aside, in the marching order, I believe I'm going to stay slightly back.
Mm-hmm.
And I also take my small silver whistle out of my pocket and hang it around my neck.
Okay, so who is taking the lead here?
I'm gonna say Maddie.
Yeah, why not?
Yes.
That's the safest thing.
Maddie's got her lantern out. Her cloak is wrapped around her to keep her a little warm, and she'll go down to where she sees everyone else gathering.
Okay. As you draw near, as you sort of head down the path down towards the edge of the lake, you get near, as you start to approach near the cloaked figures, they sort of turn like lanterns aloft to watch you as you approach. And then the few nearest the back sort of draw apart to let you pass through into the group. And there's an eerie quiet still hanging over the lake. This air like of expectant waiting. So you see the pale faces underneath the hoods of turning to look at you as you approach. The light reflecting up on their faces, this sickly greenish shade. And Zachary and Irene, you see this too. You see as Maddie approaches and the lamps flicker from the warm glow of orange to this sickly greenish glow.
Despite himself, Zachary is singing "O Holy Night" under his breath, while jauntily he's very much doing his nonchalance, "this doesn't unsettle me" thing, even though it is kind of unsettling. He's trying to project his demeanor of ambivalence. He grips his cane a little tighter, and he has he makes sure to just idly pat the side of his coat where his gun is concealed, and he lightly starts to tap a hand on his chest where the whistle is, and he kind of looks up to make sure that Chaucer is above.
Up against the night sky, it's hard to make out whether Chaucer is or is not there.
Well, I believe in him. My best friend wouldn't let me down.
Do I recognize any of these people?
Make me I'm gonna say make me a spot hidden check here, please. As you see people sort of draw apart, you hear one of them say, "Ah, no, none of these people look familiar."
No.
It seems we're all gathered. Did you bring a light? He sort of looks over, sort of nods to see that Maddie's got a lantern. Nods over looks to Lady Irene and Zachary. Have either of you got a lantern?
No, unfortunately, Maddie was the only one that brought one.
No worries, I always carry a spare. And there's a man hands you a lantern.
Thank you.
Here, sir.
I pull out my my little hand torch and I light that instead. Would this be acceptable?
Yes.
Excellent.
You're ready. Time is now. Follow.
Excellent. That is great. Lady Irene, this does strike me as being potentially awful. We may want to rethink this.
And the procession starts to move sort of along, following the edge of the river. The greenish lantern light flickering off the surface of the water. The trees of the park around you dark and silent. And it's almost like you find yourself walking. It's not quite a conscious decision as this procession begins to walk.
Leave Maddie alone.
And
Zachary.
Maddie, you kind of always find yourself somehow towards the head of this procession, like walking alongside the man at the front, his lantern held out beside you. As you sort of walk along, you're walking sort of along the edge of this lake. This procession begins, and as you walk, someone starts a song, this low, murmuring song.
Does it sound familiar to me?
Yes. You hear it's joined soon by the sound of one of the walkers playing the pipes, and then another. This eerie piping noise takes up along the shores of the lake.
I place my whistle to my lips and wait.
Okay, as the procession carries on walking. Zachary, I'm going to offer you a spot hidden here if you would like to notice something.
As much as I just love to be surprised, I think I will take
It's
you
up
up
to
on
you.
your
You
offer.
don't have to. Yeah.
I want to. Let's just go ahead with that. Let's see.
No.
No. You know, I'm gonna spend some luck on this. I think this is something that I should be aware of. It's what, 13 points to make up the difference?
Yes.
All right. And I believe we were bestowed luck after the last session, but I
Yes,
was
I
never
believe
told
I-
how much.
Did I not message you? I think I said 10
I-
points each.
10 points each, yes.
Okay, so then I will merely deduct 3 from the total that I have here.
Yes.
All right.
Yes, as you walk along the shores of this lake, the dark trees looming around you, you notice two things. First of all, your companions do not seem to be leaving any footprints in the snow. Secondly, you're fairly sure the Serpentine Lake is not this long. And the trees in Hyde Park are not this dense.
I turn and hand Lady Irene my cane. I want to point out to the two of you that I'm reasonably certain that Hyde Park is not this sprawling. And, well, could you both just kind of make sure I'm not the one that's hallucinating? I point out the footprint thing to both of them.
Just a reminder that Maddie is at the front of the procession with the leader of everything.
Oh, right. I forgot. She's the lamb. I pointed out to Lady Irene.
I'm going to look.
Yeah, now it's pointed out. No footprint. You can see 3 sets of footprints through the snow. Yours, Maddie's, and Zachary's. No others. It's you.
Can we both agree that this is bad?
Yeah, yes.
Are you armed?
And she kind of gestures to her pocket, and she kind of reaches in, she kind of pulls out, and you see she does have a knife.
Splendid. I have now shifted so the hand that had the cane in it is firmly inside the coat with the where my revolver holster is, and it is now firmly resting on the revolver handle. And the whistle is now in my... I now look kind of awkward, like one hand is in the coat and the other's got a whistle on my lips, but I know that I'm ready to throw down if necessary. So this is going to end badly, I can already tell. I'm excited.
Okay, so this is all going on behind you, Maddie. From your position at the front of this little session, you and the man beside you, you can see ahead of you, like, the lake reaches its end, and there's sort of this clearing surrounded by trees. In the centre of it appears to be a large stack of wood. It's built up like a pyre. And this is where this procession seems to be heading towards. It curves around. The man hasn't spoken a word to you since the procession took off. He's just humming away this soft song under his breath. I am going to offer you here, if you would wish, a spot hidden. I think it's the most appropriate.
Yes, I think I will.
I also have a question, Keeper.
Yes?
How many people did you say?
21 people. Not counting you three.
That was a success.
Maddie.
Bullets.
Maddie, you've not seen this. First, you try to place the face of the man next to you. Like, you don't think you've seen him, but there's something familiar about his features. And then it sort of hits you as you're reaching this clearing. You have seen someone who looked very much like him yesterday, a younger child. And you have seen a photograph of this man, very stilted and very posed. you've seen a photograph of this man on the mantelpiece in the Lane house when you visited it. And he was pointed out to you as none other than Michael Lane, the man whose family you visited yesterday.
Mr. Lane?
Yes?
I'm sorry, but I thought you perished.
Why, yes, I did. Are you still walking, or have you paused at this point?
I'm still walking.
Okay, so the procession's still continuing towards this clearing.
Mr. Lane? What?
Aye.
If you've perished, why are you here?
For the festival. It's not complete. The calling's not complete.
Calling's not. What's needed to complete it?
You need to finish it. Finish what you began.
What did I begin?
Summoning. Calling. To call forth the sun on the darkest of nights.
I don't remember that.
Oh, he kind of puts his hand and pats you on the arm. Don't worry, you'll remember the words. You know the words. And right now the procession has reached the clearing.
Did I hear Maddie talking?
Yes, yeah, both of you are close enough that you can hear that.
And did we hear Mr. Lane respond?
Yes. And I am going to ask for a sanity check from everyone here now. As Irene's looking around, a couple more of these faces are familiar. That girl there, you've holding the past Zachary the Lantern. You've seen her selling matches. That'd be 1 point of sanity lost from both Zachary and Irene. Maddie, I am going to ask you to roll me a d6 here, please.
So, as a quick question, where I've never seen these people and I don't know what's going on, am I still taking the sanity hit?
You heard. You could hear.
They've heard of it, but no one's confirmed it.
You can reserve that one sanity loss if you would like until the realization sinks in.
I'll take it later. Yeah, I'll take it later.
I was about to say, Lady Irene is probably turning and whispering to Zach.
Well, then I'll mark it off now then, sure.
That is a 5. Am I subtracting 5 from my sanity?
Yes, you are. And I would
think
like
that puts you at 2?
It goes from 12 to 7, I believe.
Yes. I will, as the circle as you draw it round in the circle, Maddie, I am going to ask you to roll me. Let's see what's appropriate. I may ask you to roll me a d10, but I may overrule it if it comes out with something inappropriate.
That is a 6.
Zachary, all of these people are the ones that died from the burnings.
And Maddie seems to be quite chummy with them. I'm going to do something potentially bad in about 30 seconds if this keeps going the way I think it's going.
Okay, I'm going to overrule that because fainting's no fun here.
Okay.
Maddie, as you draw, as the procession is now drawn up in this clearing, you see another figure standing there under the shadow of the trees beside this pyre. You can
Okay.
You see this old man leaning heavily on a cane. As he turns towards you. Maddie, my dear. Good, you can make it at last. As Sir John beckons you forwards. Don't worry, dear. Everything will turn out fine. Just say the words and everything will work out splendidly.
Sir John, Uncle, I thought you were gone as well.
Recording in progress.
That's not what I meant to do.
Recording stopped.
Apologies for that. Click the wrong
So
button.
my question is, do we hear her addressing her now dead uncle?
Yes, but you do not see him.
That's fine. I look over at Lady Irene. I'm going to apologize for this in advance, but if we don't do something terrible might happen.
I'm completely with you here.
Excellent. I blow the whistle and then scream up to the sky. Chaucer, grab her. Get her away from here. And point at Maddie.
Okay. So as this shriek of this whistle echoes out across the night, and Maddie, as you sort of are in conversation with Sir John, your sort of concentration is thrown for a moment by this wailing, whistling sound.
Okay. The wailing, whistling sound.
And then a flapping of wings from behind you.
I am going to turn around and see what is happening behind me.
Okay.
The idea basically is that we need to get her away from this. So Chaucer is literally going to grab her, pick her up, and carry her off. Much like
definitely.
Night Elves do.
Definitely a challenge. But
I also believe that Lady Irene has to roll sanity
from the
again.
darkness come down. I am going to ask for sanity rolls from both Lady Irene and, unfortunately, Maddie.
I mean, I know she's crazy, but I don't know how
That's a
crazy she
fail?
is yet.
Oh,
Okay. So that is a success from Lady Irene, who is apparently surprisingly okay with Chaucer.
I know, that's like 2 in a row. She's been fine.
It's uncanny. Not like you've got that much sanity. You just seem unable to use it. Maddie, unfortunately, I'm going to ask you to roll me another d6 here, please.
That is a 1.
Please deduct 1 more point from your sanity. At this point, it's so shattered beyond repair, as out of the darkness, this creature comes swooping down to pluck you up in its claws. You can attempt to dodge out the way or try it back against it if you should wish.
Yes, I so wish to dodge.
Okay, give me an attempt here. As this creature, its sickly oily black surfaces with curving horns inwards, its strange barbed tail lashing disquietingly at the air as it comes clutching down.
That was a success in the dodge.
I'm afraid, unfortunately, success does not beat the Night Gaunt's rather more impressive 7 out of 100 there. As you are plucked up from this gathering up into the sky. Like,
Oh no! Oh, I forgot something. Oh no.
And the
I forgot to
figures,
tell it not to tickle.
as Maddie is picked up, the cloaked figures turn to Irene and Zachary. This circle of figures, pale faces amidst the cloaks.
And we were in like the back.
Yes.
Time to
Run, I believe.
Run? Yeah,
Right.
Irene's already ahead of you. She is just.
We bolt.
As you start running on through the snow, behind you hear the footsteps. Well, not so much footsteps as this whispering, almost. It starts off as like a faint fluttering, and then grows into a soft crackling noise behind you, and then it's this roaring sound of a blazing inferno, but you can feel no heat. You can see the light, this green light dancing on the snow. As how fast are you two?
Probably not. I'm physically frail as can be.
Where is
So what's your move rate up at the top?
9.
Hey, you're actually fairly nippy.
Oh, okay. I'm nippy.
Yeah, I'm 8.
So yeah, you're actually a slightly faster runner than Lady Irene.
I blame the heels.
As you run through.
Like 5% of Zachary almost wants to stop and listen to exactly what they're saying so he can get the spell down.
If you wish
But,
to stop or you wish to
nope.
turn around and look, you may do so.
Nope, rather die. Nope.
As it is this
Running, no
green
looking.
light flickering across the snow, I'm going to ask for one more sanity check from the pair of you here.
Okay. Yep, we'll see how this goes.
Let's get that luck involved if need be.
You cannot spend luck to succeed sanity checks, only to reduce the sanity loss.
And I'm going to need to reduce the sanity loss.
Oh, come on. You're fine.
Nope. I'm just tell me
It's a
how much I need
failure.
to spend.
Well, roll me a d6. Actually, no, the luck spent, that's not in this rule set. I'm mixing it up with my pulp game. Sanity loss is sanity loss, I'm afraid.
2.
Oh, please deduct 2 points from your sanity.
Oh, I'm fine. This is Tuesday.
As the pair of you stagger and stumble the ground in the snow outside the locked gates of Hyde Park.
Locked?
Behind you, the gate's locked. There is no procession. There are no people.
Maddie's still gone?
Maddie's still gone.
Okay, good. I didn't imagine everything. Oh. God, that was interesting. I've seen hauntings before. This was not good. And part of me wanted to stay and try to figure out what they were saying, but, discretion, valor, and all that. We need to go to the Savoy, now, because it's going to keep flying around with her until we get there.
We need to get out of the park. And she's shaking the...
No, the gates are locked behind you.
Oh, okay.
The gates were always locked. They lock them at night.
Yes, let's go. Let's go.
I get in I summon a carriage because I told them to wait for me. And we go good and fast. I mean, my original plan of handing out grapes to prostitutes this evening in exchange for riding off with me into dark corners has now been completely invalid, but let's go. How's it?
And I'm
I'm not
going to
Jack the Ripper.
explain something to Zachary as we're in the carriage. All right.
Okay, I'm going to ask for a luck roll here from Maddie.
Oh,
How are you feeling lucky?
Green or purple?
Just the green one.
That's a success.
Okay, so you lost consciousness briefly as you were plucked up by this hideous thing.
That is lucky.
And as you sort of stirring the consciousness, you can feel like under your back what feels like the hard tiles of a roof. And like cold snow falling around you. You appear to be lying on a frozen rooftop.
While a gargoyle is perched nearby, waiting patiently for its master.
This hideous creature perched on the corner of the building beside you. Please give me, I'm going to ask for a constitution roll here. It's cold, it's a winter night. You dressed appropriately.
That's a hard success?
Yes.
A hard success?
You're not suffering from any hypothermia. Yeah, you seem to be lying on the roof of a rather large and fancy hotel.
I will sit up first and then stand up and move towards, look around to see if there is a door or a ladder or something to get me off the roof.
Yes?
May I roleplay Chaucer's reaction to things?
I mean, this once I will allow it, yes.
Excellent. So the first thing that would have happened when she sat up is it would have inclined its head and offered a horrific approximation of a polite bow, complete with arm down to the chest and other hand curling back. And if she starts moving towards the door, it would circle around to be in front of the door because he was told to keep her here till he came back.
I am going to reverse myself and find another way out of there. And I am going to continue to find a way off the roof.
She finds herself backed up against the edge of the roof as you hear down below.
There's a way off the roof.
Yeah, you can see down, like, you're sort of backed up against the side of this roof. You can see down below you the dark waters of the Thames lapping down beneath you, the cold, dark waters, and you can almost hear this whisper from down there. And you get the feeling that you're being watched not just by the creature on the roof, but by something below as well.
And I am going to crouch down, cover my ears, close my eyes, and start rocking back and forth and humming tunelessly.
And that is the state in which you are found as Irene and Zachary hurriedly arrive at the Savoy.
If she's humming, that counts as music. So Chaucer is going to be kind of scraping his tail against the wall in an attempt to keep rhythm, because night gods love music.
Yeah. So as the scene is, as the pair of you sort of rush up onto the roof, is this night god kind of scraping its tail, rocking back in time with Maddie's rocking back and forth.
That was an adventure, wasn't it? Chaucer, thank you. As always, you are my dearest friend and boon companion. You've probably saved some lives tonight. Not that you care. Thank you for taking care of her and making sure she arrived safe and unharmed. I release you to go back to the sky and stars above until I summon you once again.
It takes flight into the night sky. And it's just the three of you, alone on the snowy, freezing cold rooftop.
To go to Maddie and try and soothe her a little bit to where she'll come inside.
Whereas Zachary's trying to figure out what the British system for having people non-voluntary and placed into asylum care. She's not looking good.
Yeah, You could, get a blanket around her. She's probably been up there in the cold. I mean, all of you have been out in the cold. It's been an interesting evening.
Would you like me to have a bath drawn up for her?
Yes, please.
I live to serve. And he gives a small bow that's actually eerily like that of the Night Gaunt, and goes to talk to whatever butler he's got.
So, as a warm bath is being prepared, and possibly hot drinks ordered up to the room, I think that is a good time to conclude what has been a very busy solstice evening.